Do you think our government fears us?
Yeah, of course our government fears us, and the people that control these parties fear true leadership. That's why they do what they do. That's why they have
true leadership. I feel like they fear anyone who doesn't fall in line. So they fear anyone who speaks their mind, who is authentic, who doesn't need the party. And that's why.
Ooh, you man, go ahead, Jose.
Because
you back, huh?
Yeah, I'm
you
back.
We're
gonna have to play Eminem when we leave this one. Guess who's back? That's why Democrats hate me, because I don't fall in line with them. And they'll sit there and say, oh, you're just a Republican in hiding. And I'm sitting there saying, Republicans would hate me. Democrats definitely hate me. The independents, the libertarians, all of them would hate me, because there's no way that I'm going to sit there and fall in line with everything they believe in. And then they'll say, well, you know, you, as long as you agree with most of it and you don't speak up about the things you don't agree with, then we'll go far. Well, no, that's not who I am.
Yeah,
I didn't get a podcast from that. I didn't get a radio show from freaking being quiet about things.
Yeah, you're right.
And a lot of things right now is soft men who fear far too much. Because they are afraid of losing that status. They're afraid of not getting that support behind the scenes with their parties, you know. And I sit there saying, yeah, but you don't believe that.
They're masters.
Man, that's the problem. And you said you believe that the government does fear us. I think that they don't fear us, and that's why they simply do not represent us anymore. Because we just had Putin on. That just happened actually last week. Yeah, when I came back from vacation, we had Putin with Tucker Carlson interview. I watched the entire thing. I listened intently on what Putin was saying because everyone was afraid of this interview coming out. But why were they afraid?
Well, I think, first of all, Putin's government is not the alternative to what we have. First, that's first and foremost. So Putin is going to stir the pot. It's exactly what he's doing. It's not hard to see, kind of like just using the Super Bowl situation as an example, right? They're using this to, incite some sort of reaction from one side or the other. So Putin's going to definitely throw that bomb into what's going on in our chaotic political world. Right. So it's easier for him. It's easy for him to kind of just I don't like these dudes. Let me go ahead and send a couple jabs. But to what you're saying, they got to keep the money going, right? We know that there are certain positions within the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. They're both divided for a specific reason, right? Just the show before us, the conversation was about the state of Israel. Right. If you are a Republican and you say you don't stand by Israel, you're pretty much out. You're castrated. You're kicked out. You're not part of the party. You're not a part of the party, and the party will not support you unless you fall in line. No. It's the same thing with Democrats. Unless you fall in line with this gender ideology, they're not going to. They that's the most that any party will do is show support. Meaning, and when you hear support from a party, what you should be hearing is you're not going to have people out there walking to get signatures for you. You're not going to have people walking to pass literature for you. And you don't realize how many houses you have to knock the doors of in order to get your word out there. This is it's still the very old school way of running politics. You have to knock on doors because you have to touch each voter 7 times before they even think about coming out of their house to come vote for you, before they even think about your name. Because what they're going to see when they get to vote is, well, I'm a Democrat, so therefore I automatically just look down the Democrat line at a primary and I say, well, I think I know this name, or this name looks familiar. It looks familiar because you had different people walking up to your door knocking on it. You had mailers in the mail with these names on it. You had all that costs money. Right. All that costs a lot of time. Yeah. And when you don't have the support of the party, it's very difficult. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's strange. It's like you got to find who the gatekeepers are, right? Who are the ones next to the money who want to keep the money flowing? Because if someone comes by and disrupts that, whatever the script is, right, and he's too much of a rogue speaker. Right. You know what I mean? Like that person may disrupt what the overall plan is. Because just looking at locally, I was just watching this, watching the Elon Musk interview where he was talking about George Soros. He said it's more profitable for George Soros to affect the local elections, which I'm looking here in Rochester. We haven't ran a true Republican candidate on the city line to go up against any of these city council members in the last how many years? They don't even want to touch it. Why?
Their mentality is they're not going to win, so why even try? I think
that's terrible. Like, okay, for someone like myself, right now, as the president of the Black Republican Club, right, my job is to promote and market the club to try and get members within the city that have been completely ostracized and oblivious to what a black, not even just black, but what a conservative Republican is. It's just about restoring that, leadership within the Republican Party, right? That's been there for a while when it comes to black folks. But then when we look at, and again, the BRC is actually connected with MCRC, so they do support us, but do they really support us? That's going to be the question.
Right.
Why don't we have not one colored city councilman? No, they didn't even think about putting anybody up there. But yet, again, image means everything. So the folks that they did put up, you know what I mean? They fit a certain image.
Not just they fit this certain image. Again, they fall in line. That's what it is. As long as you fall in line and you don't rattle the cages, you don't shake the boat, you don't do anything outside of what you're supposed to do. And that's why Nikki Haley is still getting all this freaking funding, knowing damn well she stands zero chance.
She's betting that Trump is going to be, jail, or he won't be
able to run.
Yeah. He'll be off the ballot
or dead
or something like that. So, and then she'll be there. She's just mopping up some delegates. So she's got kind of a head start. And in Rochester, I mean, Lavelle can weigh in on this. Isn't it like a money issue too? For the MCRC?
Well, they were broke. They were broke before, but now with this election coming up, there's some funding aligned for everybody. So
money's coming in.
Money is going to come in for the state. It is a opportunity to get candidates. They had to throw somebody out there, and why would you throw somebody out there that's going to rock the boat and potentially mess up the money, right? Why would you want any type of conflict with any situation or any issue with someone that's vocal? Because you want to mess up the money.
But that's the old school political way of thinking. Because I truly believe there is a new middle.
There is
a new middle party that is kind of Republican on some things and kind of liberal on some things, kind of conservative, kind of liberal. Every issue is different.
So it's not just about spending money, like on TV ads and radio ads.
But it costs a butt ton of money to run a campaign. For city council, they told me it was a minimum, $15,000 to run one. $15,000 when you're asking people for money and they're giving you $50 at a time, it's going to take you a lot of donations to hit that $15,000.
Yeah.
So what I did was I started with, some of my own money. And then having the marketing background, I utilized myself to market myself. And I had a tagline, I had the slogan, I had the logo, I did everything myself because I knew how to get attention.
Yeah.
Because that is the world we live in today. Who gets attention? And that's what Republicans are not thinking about. They're not thinking about who here among our crew here can get attention so that the inner city voters can at least hear what we have to offer.
They don't care, man.
Well, that's the problem.
I was at this Geneva Republican convention, and then also I was at the MCRC convention.
You did
I just led the pledge, but they didn't even reference the Black Republican Club. Didn't even reference that I was the president of the Black Republican Club.
They hate you.
I think so. But the one I went to in Geneva. And I forgot the gentleman's name. He's the head of the Republican state, whatever committee, whatever the heck
Dr. Bob Knight,
He did not have not one single thing to say about black voters potentially voting for him. He only mentioned Asians, Jews, and that's it. No mention of black voters, where we're now looking at MSNBC, and they're talking about 30% of black male voters are now leaving the Democratic Party to vote for Trump.
That's the thing, though. Trump is getting all the attention, and he's not necessarily bringing them to become Republican.
No, but that's a start. You at least once you get him in front of the people, and they start listening to what he's saying instead of listening to what CNN, MSNBC are saying, then that empowers them. It lets them know that, okay, this guy wasn't racist after all. All the crap that they said in the media was wrong. Right now, I have my own personal disagreements with Trump, starting with just the overall lockdowns, Pfizer alignment, making money off the vaccines. But there are also a lot of other things that make me say, yeah, Trump is the one to lead us off of that plantation.
I don't know. I got to disagree with you on that
one. The plantation?
It was fake.
No.
It was fake. Dang it.
But he's right there with him.
He is.
He's right there with him. He is a loyal servant.
Well, I'm glad you're right here with me. You're not my servant. You're my boy.
Right,
I appreciate you always being here and coming along this politically correcting road because we are paving a